Welcome to GameFace. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's a very, very special show. I've got my ears on because we finally got Mr Biffo on the show. Very excited about this. If you don't already know, it's because Digitiser The Show is happening, and I'm excited about it. But I'm not just excited about it. The reason I asked him is because I'm almost more excited about what this means for the future of gaming. Let's get him up anyway.
He's not there.
Where's he gone? Where's he gone? We've lost him. He's back. He's back. Mr Biffo, mate. Hello. Oh, it's good to see you. How you doing, my man? I'm so sorry for getting you out of bed. I
was playing Far Cry 5, ironically.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I'm going to get into that in a short while. But first, obviously, I want to tell everyone about the Kickstarter and about the show and everything like that, because if they don't already know, Digitiser, 93, wasn't it? And
well, I started working in 92, and then it went live on January the 1st, 93.
And I was there, man. I was there. I've just done an Instagram video about this, actually, where I realised that you probably ruined my childhood, because I used to wait till 1:10 a.m. every night for it to update.
So I ruined your childhood like so many others.
Yeah, so like all these people now, you've been at it since the early 90s, destroying lives.
That's my USP. That's what I do. The destroyer of lives.
So obviously you relaunched with Digitiser 2000. Everyone, please go on digitiser2000.com. And it's done really well. You've had all the old people sort of jump in, and you seem, I mean, you'll know better than me, you seem to be getting a decent following. And then obviously we had found footage. How did we get to the point of Digitiser The Show?
It's been a long time coming, I think, rumbling around at the back of my head. I suppose the short answer is, after found footage, I wanted to do something else, but I didn't know what. And I thought, it's probably another comedy type thing. And so I kind of wrote some scripts at the end of last year, and none of them felt right. So and then I've been saying for years, I kind of, had this idea in my head for what I think the ideal kind of games show should be, which at its simplest is kind of Top Gear for games. It's not going to be Top Gear for games, aside from the fact we're not going to have that sort of budget. But then I just thought, well, okay, I want to make something. I'm sick of waiting for broadcasters to do a proper kind of gaming magazine show. So I'll just whack the two together. And it seems to have gone down quite well. It seems to be what people want to see.
Well, this is the thing. I remember the first time I messaged you personally and privately, not like tweeted about you or anything, was you put out an article with words to that effect. It was probably about a year ago now, maybe a little bit more. And you described, you used that phrase, top gear of gaming. And it's exactly our perspective. Because in terms of gaming TV, it's just shit. It's shit. And I think part of the reason for gaming TV being shit is because if somebody's watching TV, they're not gaming. If they're gaming, they're not going to advertise gaming. Why would you do that? So you have to do something that's enjoyable to people who aren't gamers, even.
I mean, even though this is going to be on YouTube, in a way, it's my way of sort of going to broadcasters. Look, this is potentially what you could have, which is not that I'm trying to get on TV, because they'll take it over and I don't know, they'll put, what's her name, Georgia Moffat, whoever, that girl from Gogglebox, they'll stick her in it as the host or something. But it's the idea being in the way that Top Gear is watched by people who don't necessarily love cars. That's what I mean by Top Gear of games, is that it's trying to make a game show that people who don't class themselves as sort of hardcore gamers could watch and enjoy. So there probably won't be that much of people sitting down playing games. I mean, aside from anything else, you've got, a billion Let's Play videos online already. So we don't need that. But it's using games as a starting point for kind of good telly, really, even though it's not on the telly.
Yeah, well, it might as well be. I mean, YouTube is the biggest content platform now. It's dwarfed everything. It might as well be on the TV. I watch YouTube on the TV. You know, I watch it via my PS4. People do it via their drives and all the rest of it. And you know, I'll go back to this Top Gear thing as well, because we've had at GameFace, we had the exact same conversation, and we've been in meetings with people who could fund these shows and who could do all the rest of it, and we've used the phrase Top Gear for gaming, and the eyes have just gone completely blank, and they don't really get it, and it's kind of a hard sell, because they're either thinking, well, why the hell would we spend that much money making an advert for something that's going to stop people watching our format, because it's like, oh, well, then they're going to go play games and going to stop watching. Or are you trying to say that you want to be like a bit racist with it? Is that your point? I don't know. Like, and it's been a very, very hard sell, you know, in terms of getting it across to people. There is something important though. The Kickstarter's doing phenomenally well. It's at 35,844 right now. It's got to get to Destruction Derby. I'm going to be so pissed if it doesn't.
Funny enough, actually, we were talking to them today about it, the people that we hope to do it with. So, yeah, I hope we can afford to do it, put it that way. So, yeah, it will be really cool.
Here's the thing, though. 35. I mean, obviously, what you only asked for? What, 7K? Was it?
Yeah, I mean that was a joke, because there's no way we could have funded anything for that. That would have been, you know, the kind of bloke sitting in their games room waffling on. So yeah, it would have had a sense of humour still. That would have been kind of digi-like. But yeah, it's you know, I was hoping we'd get more than $7,000, but even so, you know, I didn't expect quite this much. But you know, it's still a drop in the ocean. You know, we're having those discussions now about how we budget this and how we pay for the things we want to do, and you know, something like the Destruction Derby thing that we were talking about today with the organisers or the people that we want to do it with. I mean, a sequence like that, doing that, the really low end of the budget is still going to cost us $5,000. So you know, and that, you know, that's doing it on the cheap, on the really cheap. That's shoestring, but minimum $5,000. So yeah, it's a lot of money. But if people want to see, you know, something that is going to shake up kind of, you know, TV companies and make them kind of go, we should be doing something like this, they should back us really and be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, your overheads aren't going to be the same as, say, the BBC or whatever, but, and I'm really, really, really glad you touched on this in terms of expectations and all the rest of it, because a very generic, basic BBC4 show, half hour, you're looking at $50,000, aren't you? You know, and that for one episode.
Oh, at least, yeah. I mean, at least that's, you know, I mean, I work in kids' TV, and the budgets for those, you know, a kind of half hour of a kids' TV show, we're kind of talking, I don't know, $300,000, $200,000 to $300,000, something like that. And there's, you know, in TV terms, there's nothing you could do with $35,000. You know, but yeah, we're not going to have, you know, massive teams of caterers and, you know, runners and the like. We'll be calling in a lot of favours and asking, you know, the minimum that they can. We, you know, want people to get paid if they're putting in their time and their expertise. But yeah, it's we just have to get creative, really, and I have to try not to bankrupt myself like I did with found footage.
Here's the thing, though. Here's what excites me about this and I'm really, it makes me so happy, because I was going to ask you a question about, you know, sort of Kickstarters that do a lot better than they were first posted. You must have seen, and I've seen you comment along the lines of the fact that they sometimes implode under the pressure of how well they do. But it seems to me you've got your head on your shoulders in that respect.
Well, I mean, you know, we did one before, which did well, and we, you know, I kind of ended up doing 3 times as much kind of content and actual footage as, yeah, than I'd originally promised. So I know what I'm doing in that respect. I mean, I've worked in TV for nearly 20 years now, so...
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
I know how it works. So, yeah, I don't think I'm about to kind of crumble. I kind of know what I'm doing. I just have to be a dictator with it and make people do what I say.
So here's the thing as well, because when Go 8-Bit came out, I know we had a few people saying, oh, well, it's rubbish, it doesn't represent and all the rest of it. And a lot of the conversations I had with people were, it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. That's like the best you're going to get in terms of funded TV along the lines of gaming, and it's an important stepping stone. And what we were saying on Sunday with Retro Joe was this feels like it could very well be the next stepping stone, because I personally oh sorry, go on.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, it's weird that Gameplay Jenny, who's going to be kind of one of the hosts on the show, I mean, she described it as what we're attempting to do is a cultural shift, which is showing that gaming stuff on YouTube doesn't need to be cheap and cheerful and can be ambitious. I mean, from my point of view, I just want to make a good show, and I guess I don't need all that sort of stuff floating around in my head, thinking, oh God, this has got a lot of weight and importance on it for people. Although it has. I mean, you know, we've had 700 odd backers who obviously want to see a return on their investment, but I just have to push all that to one side, really, and just kind of make sure that it's as good as it can possibly be and as funny as it can possibly be, just as entertaining as it can be. So, yeah, I'm not trying to think of it in those terms. Yeah, it's probably people like yourselves that are kind of on the outside of it who have a better idea of how it might be seen in a broader context.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what I do 2 shows a week, man. I've got to start thinking, I got to do something, haven't I? I can't just sit here going, yay, games and things. I like thinking about it in the broader context. I think it's always important. So you've got just over a week left. Have you started sort of, I mean, you've sort of alluded it to it then, you've had meetings. Like, how far along in terms of the production are we?
It's, I mean, in terms of, you know, where we're at, writing lots of lists and doing kind of documents with, you know, amounts of money in them. But there's only so much we can do at this stage until we know how much we have to play with. You know, at the moment I've been kind of budgeting with a view to where they're at already, which is, you know, on 36 now. But often Kickstarters obviously have a bit of a surge in the final week. So I'm hoping they'll do a bit better than where they're at. I mean, I'm not expecting to get another 35 grand in the next sort of 10 days. But yeah, so where I'm at, I've got a grand plan. I've got lots of documents about the format. Some of them, these documents are slightly more ambitious than others. So there are kind of 2 versions of the show. There is the really cheap and cheerful one. Then there's the full-on Top Gear one, and then there's something sort of in the middle where we try and get creative with how we're going to realise it. So, yeah, we're ready to go. Once that money comes in, it's a case of starting a paper studio time and all the rest of it.
Something that made me very happy, actually, and as I said, I used to read it, and it very much got me excited in the teletext days. There was a danger to it. There was a danger to the weirdness of it and the fact that it kind of threw it away. And then when you came back with the website, I still felt that in your style of writing. And when I read the words "abject madness" on the Kickstarter, I was very, very happy.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, it's. I want it to feel like it's sort of going to spiral out of control at any minute. Someone could get hurt. Yeah, it's not going to be Jackass, but there might be a bit of that. It's what I want to see, really. I want that. Yeah, in the same way, you know, when I was a kid and my dad used to watch Morecambe and Wise, I always loved the moments of Morecambe and Wise where they'd try not to laugh. You know, where the other one was trying to make each other laugh, and you kind of got that sense of the reality behind it. So I want it to feel kind of real in that sort of way, and that this thing is, you know, kind of barely scraping along, and that the wheel could come off at any moment. So yeah, I don't know. I can only make it in the way I make things. It all seems to kind of be slightly, I don't know, mad and out there.
You do you, man. That's just perfect. That's absolutely wonderful. I mean, and there's an interesting one because, you know, obviously I remember the shows. A lot of them were aimed at kids back in the day, and then we got a little bit of that sort of late night Channel 4 business. But the people like Violet Berlin and Big Boy Barry and that, they're the sort of the PR granddaddies of the industry now. So I'm super excited. You know, from a purely selfish way, at all these sort of young upstarts now getting to see kind of the perspective that I grew up with a little bit more, and the perspective that I kind of have. I'm very happy about this, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, God knows if anyone under the age of 35 is going to bother watching it. But I'm not making it for them. I mean, first and foremost, I'm making it for me. And it is a retro gaming show, so of course we're going to kind of try and get people from that era involved, and the people that are remembered by people who played games back in the sort of 80s and 90s, and that is going to be Violet and Big Boy Barry and the like. So, but yeah, you know, I'm not expecting that there's going to be any 18-year-olds out there who go, "Ooh, Big Boy Barry and Namrood." We're going to have to give that a watch. But, hopefully there'll be enough of a. I don't know. I'm not really bothered if I watch it or not.
Well, sorry, you've got enough people paying. You've got enough people who've put their money where their mouth is and said, I want this. It's funny, actually, when I was today, because it was kind of last minute that you could really confirm that you were coming on, weren't you? And I went to my missus. I was like, oh my God, we got Mr Biffo on. And I told her, I've been reading him since teletext. And I saw the delay in her where she had to stop and actually work out what I meant by the word teletext. And I was like, oh God. Oh God. It's happened already, has it?
We're yesterday's men.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing in terms of you making what you want to do. And I did kind of want to get on with this. You've had a bit of an issue today, haven't you? And I was going to ask you about something else, and I'm going to bring that up in a minute. But first, I want to get to what happened today, because you don't. I know when you talked about Gamergate, you got a little bit of and all the rest of it, people sort of getting a bit pissy. But today seems to be a little bit special, doesn't it, with this Far Cry 5?
It's really weird. Because you know, I don't know. I didn't think I'd written anything controversial, and I guess the thing that I thought might be controversial was me being deliberately condescending to kind of the younger generation of games journalists. And I kind of figure, well, yeah, that's safe territory. They're going to know that's tongue-in-cheek because, you know, I'm three-generation games journalist, so I'm kind of, you know, biting the hand that feeds and, you know, sort of saying, you know, pull your socks up, Sonny. That was the kind of gist of what I thought I was saying. But no. Apparently I'm a dirty centrist.
I saw that. Check this out, though, man. Because you know, for some reason, people seem to have forgotten that marketing is kind of. It, by its very definition, is lying. It's exaggerating. It's creating a reaction. So if the marketing for Far Cry 5 made it look kind of political and that, and then when you got your hands on your murder simulator, it wasn't political enough for you, or it was too political enough for you. My opinion is you kind of want to be a little bit careful with that, because ultimately it is a murder simulator. So if you want to start if you want to start picking it apart in terms of like, well, and what did they expect? Did they expect the Far Cry 5 was going to drop and then that would be the end of Trump?
It just feels like it's not the game for it. It's like you don't want a Michael Bay film having, you know, some searing insight into the nature of humanity. You know, you want stuff to blow up. So that was sort of really the gist of what I was saying, that, you know, it's okay if in this particular game stuff just blows up, you know, against the backdrop of cultists and, you know, whoever, you know, gun nuts and preppers and the like, and then, you know, it's okay if other games have political content. I just don't think that Far Cry 5 is the one to have it, and yet what irritated me, that's a big word, it didn't really irritate me, it's like something to write about on Digitiser, but I sort of saw it and I thought, this is weird. It was like reading it, and the reviews all went on about the fact that it was sort of playing it safe with the politics, and that may be because of the marketing in advance. I don't know. I didn't look at any of the marketing. I didn't see any of the kind of pre-release stuff. So I kind of came to the game cold. I mean, I'd seen the marketing artwork and stuff with the artists and the stuff, but I got the game I was expecting based upon previous Far Cry games. I wasn't expecting anything more than that, and yet, most of the reviews, or a lot of the reviews, and a lot of the kind of comments on Twitter that I saw were all about how they're too scared to kind of put anyone's noses out of joint. And I just thought, yeah, but what's the game like? Tell me what the game's like. Well, that's all I need to know. It was weird.
I think we're moving into sort of slightly strange territory with gaming at the moment, and in that, like, we as gamers, and I'm talking about the millions and millions of people, there's no one thing that you can say we all are, because it's so diverse, it's so incredibly thing. We have created our own media. We've created our own form of media, and one of the beautiful things about it is, if you don't want to...
I've lost you.
Oh. I think the connection's struggling a bit. Are you there still? We're still good. I'm still on air. Oh, he's gone. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to go into my full rant, so don't go anywhere whilst we try and get back hold of him, right? We've created our own media here. We've created our own form of media. You can be a man, a woman, a hippo. You can be frigging Thomas the Tank Engine if you want to be, right? So try, if you can, to avoid playing the victim. Because we're not oppressed, we're not a minority. There was this beautiful, beautiful quote that I'm going to get up, actually. I've been seething over this for 2 weeks now, and I really, really wanted to put it to Biffo. Is he back? Is he back? Oh, there you go. Sorry about that. Mr Biffo, I just did a mini rant there about how gamers aren't oppressed. And I think the problem is, in terms of some of the language that's used at the moment, it is kind of talking about gamers as if there's some sort of oppressed minority that needs help and needs sorting out. And I'm kind of getting a bit frustrated with it, because it's just fun blowing people up, and you don't always have to look beyond that. You don't always have to look, crazy far. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I mean, I guess I've got no problem with games dealing with kind of heavy matter. I mean, some of my favourite games have. Spec Ops: The Line comes to mind. I loved what that did, and pretty much a sort of anti-war shoot 'em up. They did something really clever with it. But I don't think games have to be just fun and just blowing stuff up. And yet, I don't know. I mean, people just seem to misunderstand what I wrote today, which was just baffling. Anyway. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether. I can't say I've seen sort of gamers saying they're depressed, or I don't know. I stay out of all that kind of gaming culture stuff for the most part, because it just makes me miserable. It's like, it's just, the trouble is games have got massive now.
Yeah.
It used to be this sort of small community thing, I think, and everyone sort of felt like, we're all in it together. And it's just sort of fragmented in the same way that, you don't expect to be mates with all film fans or book fans or whatever. And there's just, I don't know, it's a feeling of almost like that, gaming has kind of broken off into lots of different kind of sub-cults and sub-sects, and it's gone a bit Lord of the Flies at times. So, yeah, I stay out of it, and I try not to be controversial. And, I try to be nice to people online, but of course, some people just want to see offence where there is none. But
I mean, I think I tweeted something along the lines of the fact that you put it in a much better way than me, because I'm just like, just grow the fuck up. Just grow the fuck up. We are so... the games that we have now, especially nowadays, like if I don't like something about that game, I can modify it as well. That's the other thing. I can change it, I can turn myself into a hippo or a girl or anything I want. I can be that thing, and we're so well catered for in terms of our needs, in terms of the vast genres and I mean, the indie scene is exploding now, and we're just given so much. And sometimes I just think, do we really need to play this game where it's kind of like just moaning about it and moaning about it? And I really, really got behind the sentiment of sometimes it's okay to not be outraged. Sometimes it's all right, you know.
Yeah.
Just
sometimes it doesn't have to be a greater meaning to something. Sometimes it just is what it is, and that's okay. You know, that isn't all the time, but certainly in the case of Far Cry 5, it just, I don't know, it just felt like moaning about it for the sake of moaning. And, yeah, as I say, grumpy old man Biffo.
Well,
had enough.
But the thing is, though, it's not just that it's a thing. It's dangerous because it leads to shit like Gamergate. And it leads to that for the most people the vast majority of people just read these things and just get on with their lives and don't care. But that little vocal minority, you know, and you've been getting a lot of it today on Twitter, that grows and everything. And then a year from now, you're probably going to get some tweet about someone who misquoted you, and it just grows and it grows, and it's just like just simmer down, you know.
Yeah, I think, I mean, for me, you know, that's the sort of joke of being kind of called a centrist, what even a centrist is, which it seems like it's meant to be an insult. I don't particularly see it as an insult, but I mean, I've always seen myself more on the left of things, and you know, I was kind of brought up that way, and I always thought we were meant to be the not ones.
Yeah.
And it seems to me these days increasingly we're kind of not. You know, when someone's calling me, supposedly someone who I kind of think I'm on the same side of, not that I particularly see myself as having a side, you know, calls me a prick or says he hates me, you know, because of a stupid article in which I kind of said, stop getting outraged about things, you know, and him failing to note that he was, you know, absolutely proving the point behind my article.
Yeah,
I don't know. I despair sometimes. I absolutely do. You know, I just want to grab people and shake them and kind of go, just stop being an idiot.
I love the context of it as well, in terms of, you know, it's specifically your article, specifically on Digitiser 2000, where you put out some of the weirdest kind of wonderful trolling shit ever. And then to suddenly hold you there is, it's like, to suddenly hold it with a very strong political sense of like, how dare you? It's like, did you see what I put out yesterday and the day before?
Well, exactly. Yeah, I did an article about Tetris this week that just went on about Alexei Pajitnov's beard. So, you know, I'm not going to have a go at someone else, for God's sakes. I can't be bothered with it.
We've had a good quote actually saying that that me and you are the same people. It's just that one's come back from the future and they won't specify who.
Oh dear, there's a before and after thing going on. Is it like Looper? Has one of us got to
yeah, I'd love that. That'd be awesome. I demand a return of Wonky Donkey. So you've quite missed the one there, Mike, in terms of your references, but bless your little face. We got loads of people. We got Jaws19, we got Bob Stew with you, we got Hilly, we got Red 5. He's very happy about you being here. Why don't you? Someone's telling you to sell shares in the company to raise collateral. What?
What company?
What company? What are you on about?
What company?
There's one last thing actually in terms of all this, and it was going to be my rant tonight, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, because Paul Meakin a couple of weeks ago did this article, and you can tell he thought of a really good clickbaity headline, which was, "Will Ready Player One be the Black Panther for gamers?"
Oh, what does that even mean? Oh, the cat's here. Hello.
Oh, I
look, the cat. They're talking of Black. You heard Black Panther mentioned. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry. Go on.
Well,
will it be? Do you want my opinion on whether it will be the Black Panther?
Yeah, 100%, please. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Well, I don't really even know what that means. Is it sort of in a way kind of, oh, the cat's back? In kind of sort of as in terms of visibility and making gamers mainstream? Is that what it means? You know, in the way that Black Panther was sort of, you know, obviously African American representation, and I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask.
I don't know either.
I haven't even thought about it. I want to go and see it because it's like, whoa, cool! Look, there's the DeLorean from Back to the Future, and it's being chased by King Kong. That's as far as I've kind of thought about it.
That was it, really. I just want to see all the game's characters and be like, whatever. I mean, the thing for me, and like, I gave it to you cold or whatever. The thing for me, the reason I read this to you is because it kind of comes back to what we were saying before about just calm down. Like Ready Player One doesn't have to be Black Panther because us as gamers aren't really in a position where we need representing in the media. Like if every gamer in every other film from now on to the end of time was a spotty basement dwelling idiot, then that doesn't matter to us because we don't need that representation necessarily because we have our own form of media. We've got our own thing that we can represent ourselves anyway, and that's kind of my perspective. And I worry with this like Black Panther for gamers in terms of like, can we stop politicising everything? Can we stop adding some grander fucking meaning? Because this gives us Gamergate, but from the other side, the defensive side, the SJW side, this kind of like, I'm not a fucking victim. I just play games. I just like blowing stuff up and flying and pretending to be a lady in Warcraft.
There you go. A giant, I used to, in Saints Row 4, I used to like being a big Hulk, but in a G-string. And you remember Saints Row 4?
I do, yeah, I do.
Yeah, the customization you could do in that was awesome.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about as well. When we're talking about like, is one thing represented more than another and all that? It's like, do these people actually know? My worry, my genuine worry is the more kind of gaming is politicised in the press, the more the more attention there is from people who are non-gamers, and they don't give two shits about what groups are represented or whatever. They just look at the videos and they see someone being stabbed multiple times, and they see kids and they see shooting and they hear the language and all the rest of it. They're not going to give two shits about whether if Ready Player One is the Black Panther for gamers, or if Far Cry 5 did too much or too little to commentate on America, in Trump's America, anything like that.
I'll tell you what I think half the problem is, right, is that there's so many websites now, and you hit the nail on the head when you say it was a clickbaity headline. I mean, I haven't read the article, so I can't comment on it. It might be, the best article ever written, I don't know. But I think, and I would, in a way, today's Digitiser article was kind of guilty of it as well. There's, because gaming media is now dated, and I speak as somebody who used to write, Digitiser, back in the day, every day. There's this constant sort of beast that needs to be fed. And so you're continually sort of shoveling content into this monster's mouth, trying to get views. And I can't speak about the Ready Player One article. I know I have been guilty of it because it's like, Christ, I've got to get something up today. What's outraging me, or what can I say is outraging me today? And you just end up having to do it. And I wouldn't be surprised if that is Ready Player One, the Black Panther for gamers article was exactly a case of that. I'm not saying it was, but it might have been. And I think this is what happens. We end up, you stoke outrage, it gets clicks. And also sometimes stupid opinions kind of get put out as articles, whether those opinions are kind of have got any conviction behind them or not. It's the nature of there being a sort of 7-day-a-week kind of news and features cycle. It used to be that we had our magazines once a month and that was it. Whereas now it's, websites every day, multiple articles every day, because you've got to have as many articles as possible to get as many hits as possible to keep the advertisers happy and blah blah blah. And it's not necessarily healthy. I mean, I think back when I'll stop talking in a minute and take a breath. Back when Keza McDonald was editing Kotaku, I liked her approach in that she would give her writers a big chunk of time to kind of work on articles that they felt sort of passionate about. So it wasn't this constant, wake up in the morning, what the hell am I going to write about today? There there was a concerted effort to sort of try and make really sort of strong content that wasn't necessarily news and reviews led, but more kind of personal article led. And I've completely forgotten what my point was. But anyway, yeah, I think, the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week gaming news cycle is not particularly healthy.
If only someone was kickstarting right now a short series on gaming that's going to be a little bit dangerous, but also celebrate the scene, because that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's we're going to celebrate.
That's what it is, and there's nothing. You know what? And celebrate it however the bloody hell you want. I mean, I really hope that this Kickstarter does so well that that feeling of not being tied to expectations is there. And that I'm going to make the show that I want because for every pledge and for everyone that does it, that's telling you, I want you to do whatever you want, and it's sometimes hard, isn't it, when you're in it, because I make films, I've done feature films and that, and I know how there's that pull, even just on set, and you've got some big personalities involved as well, and there'll be pulls from them as well, and God, it's going to be great though, isn't it? It's going to be awesome.
I think so. I think it's going to be, I think it'll be a lot of fun personally. I mean, my main reason for doing it is to enjoy it. And I want that to come across on screen. I want everyone involved to be enjoying it, because I think that is going to kind of be imbued into the sort of DNA of the show, really. If we're having a laugh, hopefully the audience will as well. So that's first and foremost, beyond the kind of crashing cars in a stock car derby. It's trying to have a laugh doing it.
That's the one I want. I want Destruction Derby, and so does our Joe. Actually, Joe's desperate for that. Retro Joe. So I'm so glad, because you're gonna hit that. Of course you're gonna hit that. Of course you will.
Well, we shall see. We've still got $4,000 to go.
I know. Well, it's slowed now, isn't it? There was that instant like wah, and it's
they always do. Same thing happened on found footage. It's just they tend to be sort of bookended by kind of big. I don't know what the psychology behind that is, but I guess it's people at the last minute going, "Oh, I've not done that, and I've only got a couple of days left." So,
well, I think as well, some people want to see how well it does, because they kind of don't want to get behind it until they're like, "Oh, right." So they kind of want the complete picture. So if they roughly know how high you've already got, they're like, okay. I think that's part of it as well, but I don't know. But yeah, the last 2 days, I'll be sure to give you a massive shout out next week, and obviously on the radio show as well, because I want people to get behind this. And if you need any help as well, you can always get in touch and all the rest of it.
Noted.
Always. I know you've had a load of people say that to you though, so I'll just get put on the pile of like. But I've worked on films.
Sorry, day by day that pile of volunteers grows ever higher.
I'll drop you a thing privately about that, Cole, because I used to be a first AD, so I might actually genuinely be able to help out. Yeah. Before the baby came along, I can't.
Funny enough, there's a we on found footage on the finale when we were shooting that, which was kind of the first part of found footage that we had a external kind of camera crew, and I told my other half to be the first AD, and she was very out of her depth, because you basically got to shout at people and tell them to hurry up. So we may need a first AD. There you go.
Put the wrong camera up then. It was me, not you, so I was going, what? The good thing about, we'll talk about this off air, because this isn't a thing here and all the rest of it. Dude, we're running out of time. I'm getting loads of attention and waves and all the rest of it, and I'm being told off. And I already got you out of bed with no notice, because you thought it was an audio podcast. So
I don't know what I was thinking. That was... See, that's the kind of pressure I'm under at the moment.
Dude, we've had Digitiser 2000. We've linked to the website. So if anyone's watching this and the Kickstarter's already closed, please get your ass to the website, because it's a wonderful thing. I absolutely adore it. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. You're one of my heroes, man. So this is great. This is wonderful. You got me into all this shite. Like. And you influence my own, because we just take the piss out of everything here. So, you're
I do best.
You're part of the genesis of all that. You have a wonderful night, my man. Thank you so much. Mwah.
You're welcome. Cheers, Graeme.
We just had Mr Biffo on air. Look how pink I am. I'm so excited. Hey. Yeah, you put me full screen then when you started talking to me.
Well, I had to, because I was losing him.
Oh, right. It was just me full screen, and I was like trying to listen, and I went, what?